Smile. Smile. March of 24, he developed bleeding. He received many transfusions because of the bleeding that was internal. And even the doctor said, well, this is it. So he came home, we took care of him on hospice, and 2 months later, that's the German in him, okay, 2 months later, May 31st of 24 at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, he passed away and went home to be with our Heavenly Father.
All right, let's see what Grandpa got. Which is sock. She got sock.
If I get it out of the...
Here, do we need a
I don't have the strength anymore.
You got soft.
Here, this might help. I don't like it.
Whoa.
Why?
This is a kick in the pants.
This moment right here is one that we're gonna cherish as a family. It's also a moment that I've been asked not to share publicly. Here is my challenge to you, and that is that you take more photos and more videos. Someday you might be thankful that you did. Every photo and every video captured in today's video was not all captured by me, but of family members of Peter.
Chihuahua.
Speedy Gonzalez, where'd you get that one at?
Most likely San Diego when we were down there visiting you.
Okay.
So as we take a trip down memory lane, I hope you enjoy today's video.
Becky, if you like the car, grab it.
We got a professional over here.
Hardly. Prost.
What's that mean?
It means like, in German, it means like, to you.
There you go. Okay, well here's some olives.
It's a wish for enjoying your day, whatever you drink and what have you. I will be back. And off she went.
She's flying away.
Yeah, she's right over here. See, she's taking a snoot nose.
She's flying away.
So away she went. Yep, she sure did scatter, didn't she?
And honey, I've been racing the wind like a bird, been chasing the wealth of the world, but it fades when you're near. So tell me where we go from here. Tell me where we go from here.
There's a lot of people at this time of year that are feeling pretty bad, lonesome, alone. I feel personally pretty blessed. I need to remind you that the biggest Christmas present this season is the birth of Christ, okay? That's the big present. You got that? Okay.
It's your great grandpa.
High five. Not bad, huh? You're quite a character, you know that?
Attaboy. Attaboy. Happy Easter, everybody. Woo! Hey, you bum. Say Happy Easter. Say Happy Easter.
Happy.
Yeah.
Where do we go? The lights burn out low. The spring turns to snow. Where do we go? Whatever I do it with you.
Oh, it's great to watch the kids, isn't it? They're having a good time. It's nice to be in my position to be able to just observe and enjoy. You know, I'm very thankful for a lot of things, and that's one of them. Okay?
What are you hiding?
Well, that I'm not supposed to say, I guess. Couldn't be another egg, could it?
It might be.
There's one up here on the What is it? An egg?
Oh, up in the phone. Look at that. I love that.
Here you go, honey.
I don't know where the
I'm
last
holding
one
it.
is.
I do.
Well, there's one.
Oh, look down here in the
There's one more
weeds.
yet.
Look down
He's a
Oh,
character.
that's right.
Peter was born in Breslau, Germany. He was born in 1934. From what I could gather, it was a good time. They had a lot of family. From the photos that he showed, lots of aunts and uncles, grandparents. He was especially connected to his grandpa, which was good. He did experience all of World War II. He did experience how the Nazis came to rise, and he also watched them fall. He is an eyewitness to watching his mother run through the streets with some food in her hands to try and get to nourish her family and so forth. His father, whose last name was actually Berger, they were on a transport train headed towards safety, and the father thought that the train was about to be bombed. He jumped from the train, and that's the last that he saw of his dad. But what's cool is God had something really cool planned for him, and along came Harry C. Waddell. And he was in the Army. He was a medic in the Army, and he kind of took Dad under his wing and eventually married my grandmother, Hildegard, and brought them to the United States. He lived in California, attended high school, graduated high school in California. He was a lab tech in Anchorage, Alaska. He had a lot of stories about all of the things that they did in Anchorage, how they helped civilians, how they helped the military. He said it was a very desolate place, a very difficult place to be stationed because of the cold and the dark. Not a lot of people handled it well, but he kept himself busy there. Got an early out from the Air Force, which left him out at Stead Air Force Base in Reno, Nevada, which is now retired Air Force Base. And he also stayed in the medical field for a little while, and then joined Sierra Pacific as I think he was part of an accounting team that kept track of all of Sierra Pacific's assets. And that's Sierra Pacific Power Company, which is Nevada Energy. He went up in the ranks, if you will. At the end of his career of 30 years, he was a senior buyer for Sierra Pacific, which means if the power company needed transformers, he was responsible for getting them. He was responsible for maintaining the stockyards that were around the state and out of state. He was the one that made the call, and he was the one that people went to sell their wares, if you will. Anything from wire to water to everything. As far as Dad's family life, he married a beautiful woman by the name of Carol Waddell. Carol Houghton is her maiden name. She grew up in Truckee, California. Awesome marriage, and he didn't mess around with Mom because she was 300 words a minute on a typewriter, and you know, she'd just blow everybody out of the water. It was really fascinating to watch her go. But the two made a really awesome pair, and they had my sister, Debbie. I think by God's providence, I'm actually pretty sure about God's providence, they decided to adopt. So they adopt this little guy who was very sick. They brought him into their home and raised them, and you're looking at this ugly mug now because of it. Dad was very much a family man, did anything he could for his kids. I know that he provided, you know, Debbie medically needed something to help her back, so they decided to get into horseback riding, which helped her back, I guess. It helped her back in her lower pelvis area, and I guess that helped her out. And she went on to a pretty good stint with horses, and it was a lot of fun taking care of them. Sometimes it was hard work, but that's where Dad taught us the hard work. After Mom passed away in 2016, the Lord blessed us by bringing him into our house. And for 6.5 years, we put up with really awesome stories about Germany, stories about his life in the military, and also stories, you know, about home, and you know, really made it nice. And I think that was a blessing from our Holy Father that he was able to come here. We were able to provide for him, Chris and I, and open our home to him. An incredible 6 years. It was really good. I guess it's really awesome to see in the background everything that he did, and we were able to provide for him. Kind of give it back, saying, hey, thanks, Dad, we really appreciate it. And that was probably one of the biggest blessings that our Heavenly Father has given us, is that he's given us the honor and dignity of caring for him because he cared for us. Yeah, I know, I'm working on it. I'm trying to fight him back. This old jarhead's getting soft. About the last 3 years, we did start noticing a decline in Dad's health. We weren't sure, you know, it's a normal thing. He's 89 years old, you know, and he lived a good 89. Because his balance wasn't all that great, his walking always, food was actually one of the last great joys that he had. Not to mention, he was surrounded by grandchildren, which was Megan, Josh, Heather, and Kelly. And he is the only surviving great-grandparent that got to see his great-grandchildren on my side of the family. He was able to see Raven, and he was able to see Serenity and Oliver, which, once again, that's how God blesses us. It's so wonderful to have our grandchildren running around this house. It's wonderful to feed them ice cream, deprive them of sleep, and wire them all up and give them back to their parents, all cranky and dirty and everything else. And that is one nice thing. And you know, Dad got to experience a lot of that. He would come and sit down here in this seat beside me, and he'd watch the great-grandchildren play. March of 24, he developed bleeding. He received many transfusions because of the bleeding that was internal. And even the doctor said, well, this is it. So he came home, we took care of him on hospice, and 2 months later, that's the German in him, okay, 2 months later, May 31st of 24 at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, he passed away and went home to be with our Heavenly Father. But that's Peter Waddell. There's no middle name. They didn't give middle names back then or in Germany, I think. But that's the short story of Peter Waddell after 89 years.
How you doing? You have a nice chat?
So on May 31st, 2024, Peter looked at the nurse who was getting him ready for the day and said that he was ready to go. And it was in this moment that Peter had passed away. Peter was a man of faith, and by the grace of God, we as a family, we have the hope that we will see Peter again someday.
Ready? Hey, look at that camera.
Hey, wave.
Wave at that camera. Cheese. 1, 2, 3, happy Easter. 1, 2, 3, happy Easter.